Jenna. 11, with Jenna. 11, with Jenna. 11, oh, you're gonna go right now. 11, with Jenna. With Jenna. 11, with Jenna. Right now.
Saturday night.
With Jenna. With Jenna.
Hello. My name is Jenna. This is 11 with Jenna. I don't know why I'm so green. Why am I green? 11 with Jenna. It is. I am here 7 days, 7 nights, 14 times a week, right here at 11:11 a.m. and 11:11 p.m. And it is Saturday night, and I just had such a great night. We made Chilean sea bass, organic sweet potatoes with organic honey and cinnamon, fresh off the corn on the cob, fresh off, frozen, like fresh flash frozen this summer. That I kind of did in the I did it in the my cast iron. So I dried it kind of. It was really good. Potatoes, green beans, and See's candy for dessert. And we played Shanghai. I'm like, that's the best Saturday night, other than one more Saturday night that I've had in years. And check it out. There are 11 of you here.
11, with Jenna.
Edited it.
11, with Jenna.
Just going to go back over here. I just have to do a little bit of work beforehand. Then I edit the post. And what'd you have for dinner tonight? What are you doing? Are you eating? Are you drinking? Are you done? Are you having some cake balls maybe? I didn't have any today, but I did. We worked on our glutes. And I'm afraid that tomorrow I'm going to be a little wobbly. But let me just see who's here super fast. William D. Salmon. You had Salmon. Suzanne, got your message. I will send it out on Tuesday. Patty Lohman, William D. Carl Hess, Dan, Stacy Q. Two hearts that beat as one. I wonder if Gary has ever met her. Let's find this out. Ladies and gentlemen. One more Saturday night with Gary Lambert. Oh, you did? Wow, Morocco. Ooh, I was just waiting for what was going to be happening there. Hello there, Mr. Lambert.
Hello. Nothing exotic or blended in the NutriBullet tonight. Just some nice Sangiovese.
Very Sangiovese. Wow. Oh, so Rob Morocco, they did a William D. special salad tonight. Did you take photos? I took photos of my dinner tonight. I'm going to post it. It was one of those communal things, and it just all worked so perfectly. Bill Winokur. Wow.
Hi, Bill.
Toast.
Totally. Hi, William. Toast. Hi, Suzanne. Hi,
Rob. Tri-coastal, actually.
Hi, Patty. Hi, Carl. Hi, Dan. Hi, Julie. Have I scrolled everybody's name? I think I have.
I don't know. Maybe.
I think I have.
It's ever changing.
I hope so.
How
and
are
ever
you?
Increasing. How am I? It is really windy here tonight.
Oh, last night it was like that here. Wow.
Yeah, it's like branches scraping against. You may hear it because it seems to have calmed down now, but it was quite dramatic a little while ago.
Last night was like that, and I live near Lake Michigan, and it was like this. And the wind.
Yeah.
I don't remember experiencing it in that strong of a.
Ooh, Carl Yeah, Carl made corned beef and cabbage. Mm.
Oh, check it out now, Carl. I'm just still doing Saturday night with Gary Lambert. Gary Lambert. What
That's
did you
me.
have for dinner?
I had like a late lunch burger, made myself a burger, one of those just feels like a burger days. And it was mighty good. Yeah, it's been a pretty unspectacular week in terms of culinary. Had Chinese sent in, and I have leftovers from that, which I'll probably have tomorrow. And
When you order
it,
Chinese, what do you have usually?
well, there's not spectacular Chinese in the neighborhood, but I go with some of the base. I like the orange flavored chicken is awfully nice. I like General Tso's chicken. I had some very nice chow fun noodles in this batch with some pot stickers on the side, and I will get the traditional kind of wonton soup, or I like hot and sour soup. I got wonton this time. It's your sort of very local American Chinese kind of restaurant. In other words, it ain't Red Farm
Getting
for what
closer.
is.
I'm
We're getting closer.
getting
That's right.
closer to Red Farm.
That was the original lyric.
I think so. You would know.
Yeah.
Are they open on Mondays?
Red Farm, I think they're open 7 days. I'll have to check. I
Or
can
maybe
ascertain
even
that.
Monday. Probably the night before. What if we go to Red Farm
Uh-huh.
that Sunday in May?
That's
Because you're in the
possible.
city anyway, right?
Well, Sunday, no, I'm not working out of the studio. I'm still working out of home.
Right.
But I could hop over after.
But Tuesday, I hope you put that on your book.
The Tuesday gig.
May 24th.
I will not be, I've got Wilco's Festival in Western Massachusetts in May, but that's not on Tuesday. I'll be home. I think it's right before that. So, of course, I'm not sure where I'll be living in May, but I will come into the city for your gig for sure.
Hey, tie-dye Patty. So what's happening with that? Talk to us. You want to.
Okay. Yeah, here is the current lowdown. My brother arrives here on Tuesday of this coming week, and he's staying here for a solid month. And we basically have to have the house empty by the end of March. I mean, empty, because what happens after that is repairs and stuff, and then getting the house sort of spruced up to put on the market. So my last month living here is, I may be able to be here for part of that process while repairs are being made. But we're coming into the waning days of my living in the childhood home. And that's pretty heavy. that has some resonance. But I'm just dealing with it as it comes. And then there will be a period, we don't know how long it'll take to sell the house. So I have various interim plans, which include a couple of friends have offered me the spare rooms in their houses. I could go out and stay with the relatives in California, but I'll need to be here to be like looking at places, assuming I will be staying in the New York area, which is the hope.
That's the, yeah.
It is the foremost hope, absolutely. And I'm also I'm putting feelers out to friends who live around here saying, hey, you have any like home shares that are possible, or you need a housemate or anything like that.
Well, and a lot of people go on tour in the summer too.
People go on tour,
Listen to me. A lot of people go on tour in the summer. I'm like, yeah, that was pre-2020, Jenna, but yeah.
Right. And I'm also, there could be sublets in my future for a little while, or, well, it's going to be up in the air for a while. It's not, I can't make a real plan until I have money from the sale of the house and know what I can afford on a longer term basis. So it's going to be challenging. And so that's, the March 31st deadline is pretty intense. We have our work cut out for us. I've already been working, I've been going through books and saying, okay, do I need this one? I love this book. I can always find another copy somewhere down the road. I need to reduce everything. Marie Kondo, the Spark Joy lady, she would wind up strangling me if she was working with me.
I know. I want, you know what? I would wind up strangling her.
That too, yeah. One way or the other, one of us would not leave this house alive. And she seems like a very nice person, and she means so well. But
she threw away her family's favorite things when she was like 5, and then she went in and cleaned her kindergarten room out, and the teacher was like, "What the?" Yeah, I know. Okay, I understand the good of it, but us emotional collectors are a whole other breed.
I would be like, who are you to say what sparks joy in me, lady?
Thank you.
Maybe I'm just fundamentally a more joyous person than you are, Marie. Maybe many things spark joy.
I already did it a long time ago, Patty.
Right, Marie Kondo, why I oughta. Anyway, so I will be struggling with the Marie Kondo concept a lot in the coming months or so.
You know what? I bought the book. I don't even know where it is. I read the first 3 chapters and went, not my jam.
Hey Marie, your book sparked disgust, so I threw it out.
Right. So I threw it in the fire. You want to spark this book? Spark. I got something to spark. My CD called Spark. It's a great CD. Ooh, but that doesn't spark joy. Well, it did in me. Well, okay. So are you?
Oh, you know what? Jenna, it looks like you're not public.
I am public.
Oh, maybe I need to reload the page so I'll see that.
I'm definitely. I was public the first 27 seconds on according to my page. Edit privacy. Okay. Public.
Yeah. No, I just refreshed my page and because I just saw someone's. Oh, Patty said public, please. So if you refresh your page, the little globe will turn up.
Hey, Jeff Metzger.
Hi, Jeff.
Thank you, William D. Share and share alike. So are you taking photos of each room? Does that mean something to you if you were to do something like that?
Oh, I'm sure I will. I'm not taking photos of the room as currently cluttered, but I'm sure I'll.
Although that could be kind of an interesting concept too.
Yeah, I'm sure I'll want to document the house. There's lots of pictures from over the years. It's very strange to think about, not also, in one of those jarring kind of realities, the neighbor's house across the street is about to be torn down. And I think something hideous is going to be built in its place. And I certainly think it's a realistic expectation that could be the fate of this house, but then again,
was it built?
Huh?
What year was it built?
For years we heard it was 1926, but now I hear it was more recent than that. It was like maybe 1940.
And your parents purchased it?
In 55. So, the trend has been, and this was a neighborhood that was like very uniformly beautiful old Tudor style houses. And then in the last 20 years, the people whose taste runs to the gigantic and the gaudy have, bought property here, and there are very lax standards. There are these zoning standards where, there's this whole loophole around where if you leave one wall of your garage standing, tearing down a house and building a new one is called a remodel rather than and that loophole got built in, and the local sort of residents association tried very weakly to get some kind of code happening, but they lost in court. So that's kind of the way of things. And so seeing that neighbor's house across the street, I think, is the first place I ever watched color television. It was like the kids in that house were like, one was a contemporary of my brother and the other was about a year older than me. So we'd go over to their basement and watch Bonanza. That was like, one of the big shows that was on color. So, it's really sad. It's now surrounded with green plywood, and they're like earth movers, like tearing up the hill you
Right.
know, and it's pretty ominous. But
I'm not sure if Peter is still here. Peter Henderson, are you still here? If you are, I have a story to tell you. So let me know if you're still here. Is the house built already, or that you don't even know what's going to be there?
no, the new one, yeah, there's a hideous artist rendering
Yeah.
of the new one on the wall outside on the green plywood wall. It's really funny because the property was put up for sale. Several people in between our old neighbors who we knew well, and some people we didn't know all that well. So subsequently, there were several other residents there. And then the woman who was living there, her husband died and she moved to Florida or something. And so she put it on sale. And then it got bought and resold. People flipped it. You know, there's been all kinds of, you know, that kind of chicanery with the property. But what's interesting is when I saw the house was for sale again, I looked it up on Zillow just to see like what it was going to sell for. And they had a picture of an artist rendering of a new place already there. So apparently what they did was they put it up for sale, you know, like whoever bought the property, like their plan was always to tear down the house and build it. So they're selling the new house already, or they sold it, you know? So it's pretty bizarre, but it looks like, and that was like a beautiful old, you know, has these like sort of white, I guess, stucco walls and these beautiful like peaked, you know, brown roof. It looks like something in the English countryside or something. It ain't gonna look like that anymore. But then again, who knows what the English countryside looks like now?
Right.
Might look just like that.
It could be. We don't even know, like you said.
Yeah.
Well, wow, man. I'm so happy that we've been able to hang out the last 2 years together then in your house.
Yeah. And you know, I probably won't own the couch anymore.
Really?
Well, no, because it's too big a couch for me to, if I live in an apartment or something. You know,
You got to auction that shit off.
well, I'm gonna keep the slipcovers. I may just put them over when I start doing like webcasting, I'll just put the slipcovers right over.
But you
my
have
chair.
that other fabric, right?
I have all that fabric. So yeah, I will keep the fabled couch material.
I'm thinking, and this is just to put this in your head, in my head. So March 24th is the 2-year anniversary of the show.
Right. I will plan on being here.
And if maybe we could do like a walk through the house, or my request and my mom's request is to tell your mom's story.
I can do that on the 24th. Sure.
Okay.
Yeah. Doing it here in the house would be nice one more time.
Yeah. Oh.
You know, in a way that it's kind of, I mean, think about the house being torn down, like the positive attitude we can take would be like, yeah, you know, after the Lamberts, no one's worthy to live here.
Hey.
Yeah, you know.
Yeah, tear it down and put up one of those smart house. I watched that happen in Rockridge.
Yeah.
I lived next door to this couple. They'd lived there since 1971. Lower Rockridge used to be all Italian. And just last year, 2 years ago, I guess, Ida went into a home and Joe sold it to these two young tech guys, like 24-year-old. They took the whole thing out, down to not even the studs. It's a shell of a house right now.
Yeah.
And I know I was there for dinners, and I know that their kids were born. I mean, the same thing.
Yeah, it really has an effect. You know, if you just think about, well, you know, the famous Gertrude Stein line, which was used for many years to put down Oakland, California, and was not meant to. There's no there. So now people thought she was talking about Oakland, but she wasn't. She was raised in Oakland and then moved to Paris, you know, wherever she moved to. And she came back to Oakland after many years. And that line, there's no there, was taken to be a diss on Oakland, but it was really about the Oakland she knew not being there anymore. Like the tree that she used to climb was no longer there, and the house she grew up in was no longer there. So but those rotten, snobby San Franciscans actually appropriated that line as a diss against Oakland. Herb Cain, I think, was probably partially responsible. And I've always told San Franciscans, do not be dissing Oaktown.
Do you know what? A very good friend of mine, he's a priest at St. Columba in Oakland, says, what's the best thing about San Francisco?
The view of Oakland?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I when I moved to the Bay Area, it was like, you which was 1974. There's this aspiration to live in San Francisco because you think that was like the place that you heard about from the East Coast, and you heard about all the bands in San Francisco and all the Golden Gate Park. I think it was only about like 6 months of living in Oakland before I said, why the hell would I want to live in San Francisco?
It's fun to live in San Francisco,
Yeah.
but the San Francisco nor Oakland nor the East Bay are not anything like what we knew them to be.
Well, that's also very, very true. But Oakland, I said, this is more affordable. It's warmer. It's always like 5 to 10 degrees warmer. We don't get as much fog and all that crap. And it isn't as pretentious.
Mm-hmm.
It felt more like just a nice down home place to be. So I got over wanting to live in San Francisco really fast.
Yeah. Well, now Berkeley has become there is no there.
Yeah, there is no there in so many places now. So my interesting dilemma is going to be, can I afford a place anywhere in the confines of New York City? And there are still neighborhoods in the boroughs, forget Manhattan. Or maybe not, maybe
You
like
might find something in Manhattan. Yeah.
way up in Inwood or something. But it's a race because, like, as we come into spring, the prices go up. There's an interesting thing. There's, every now and then, they've done these things where they build really swanky housing, but they dedicate a certain number of units to rent stabilized. And there's an auction happening at this building, which is like very, very tall and kind of like ultra modern on the Williamsburg waterfront in Brooklyn. And I fall within the income parameters. So what the hell? I'm going to enter this auction.
And what about, is the art, down in, you know what I'm talking about, in Manhattan, where so many of my friends have lived and have died in, the compound where George Brooks' dad is, what is it, on 40, you know what I'm talking about, in Manhattan. My friend Paul lived there and a few other people I know. They're artists, musicians, and you can sign up to live in there.
Oh, you mean way downtown, like Westbeth?
No.
Oh, because Westbeth was the first. Westbeth was a former, I guess it was Bell Telephone Company building, which is where the first artists really squatted, and then won the right to have residences there. But I'm not sure where the place is that you're talking about.
It's like on 40th, 39th, 40th, and on the west side.
Way on the far west side.
Yeah.
I can't place that one, but I know people who've been in Westbeth.
Don Isley lived there, and my friend Paul lived there, and Kendall, and George Brooks' father was a famous radio announcer. George Brooks, horn player, saxophone.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Oh yeah.
His father was a radio announcer, and that street, and they lived there. His parents lived there, and that block is now called.
Named after Mr. Brooks. That's very cool.
Yeah.
So
who knows, right? You might. Would you want to live in Harlem or something like that if you were to find the right vibe?
Sure. I mean, I will live anywhere, that's cool and that I like and that's close into the city or in the city. I'm looking, I thought I should look around Portchester because I'd be walking distance from the Capitol Theater. I'm going to look for places that are convenient to the city and affordable.
It's going to happen sooner than you're going to get a bunch of, I think it's going to happen soon. You're going to find
We'll
the right
see.
place. It's going to come to
see.
you.
Yeah.
You're not going to, it's going to come to you.
It's funny because I have not looked for a place to live.
Patty says, move to Baroda. Baroda, Michigan's happening.
Yeah. I mean, the last time I looked for a place to live was October of 1974.
In Oakland.
Yeah. And then that I only lived in that place for a month because two friends of mine moved from Howe Street and 41st Street in Oakland, and I inherited their place. So after a month in this kind of sketchy place, kind of on the Oakland Emeryville border, I wound up, just off Piedmont Avenue for 30 years. So
and that's the place where, who lived there? Who was your neighbor? Russ was your neighbor, right? At one point?
Russ Jennings?
Yeah.
No, Russ wasn't my neighbor. Russ and I developed this relationship where he would just see me on the street and give me a ride somewhere. But he didn't live that near me. But he'd say, I'll drive you home. I said,
I thought somebody lived next door to you. And weren't you in a duplex or something?
Yeah, maybe. I think we did know someone in common who lived right in front of me or right on the side of me or something. But no, Russ was just my volunteer chauffeur.
Got it. He's been my volunteer chauffeur. And the cool thing about Russ and Carol, they're not living in Manhattan anymore.
Where are they?
They live upstate, and they bought a townhouse in Richmond, in Point Richmond.
So, I love Point Richmond. When I actually there was a period. Actually, I'm wrong that I haven't looked for a place because there was a point where I wanted to get out of my place in Oakland because my landlord was terrible. And I looked in Point Richmond, and there were some really nice spots that I didn't get. But
I lived in Richmond Annex for many years, and then the .com happened, and then Gary's. So William just posted your mom's autobiography.
Yeah, which is hard to find.
Gary, wow, I get it.
It's going to get very real, and
your brother's coming out for a whole month.
Yeah, and if I don't strangle Marie Kondo, maybe I'll strangle him.
Right. Maybe you could knock him over the head with Marie's book.
Right, and say, "Hey, that sparked joy."
Is he good at? Is he better at it than you are?
Well, I don't know, because there's been a real imbalance because I've been here and he hasn't, and also it's my stuff. It's my stuff and our parents' stuff. So he'll probably be dealing more with our parents' stuff. And
Get rid of it. Get rid of it. You're like,
the parents, he'll want to get rid of my stuff. And
right.
The parents' stuff, there's the stuff that has sentimental value, and there's going to be some stuff that has financial value. And we have to assess what means enough to us to keep or divvy up among ourselves. And, things that'll get put in an estate sale and things we'll donate. And it's large. It's they lived here 58 years for my dad and 62 years for my mom, so that, and they accumulated things. They accumulated many, many things. So it'll be interesting mix of sentiment and ruthlessness. Yeah, we got to get rid of this, and a few things that we'll just not be able to part with at all. So,
is there a garage?
There is a garage. There will be. That's going to be kind of a staging area for a lot of things. Massive amounts of garbage have gone out, and will continue to. And then they have special designated large item pickup days, Department of Sanitation, where you can make an appointment. We are giving we actually already donated several very large boxes of books to Vietnam Veterans Organization, the VVA, and they're doing another pickup, I think, in a week or so.
Wow.
So, and then they take clothing and apparently appliances and things like that. So we're going to start figuring out, what kitchen implements I want to take with me and then use in whatever my new place is, and what I'll say, I'll just get a new one of those. It's daunting.
I've moved my parents a couple times, and my dad's stuff's still downstairs, so
Yeah.
I get it. He has a shop in the basement.
Right.
Yeah. Well, and then this summer you might be on tour, some of it. Yeah, maybe.
We'll see. We'll see if the band wants us to do, if they're going to do the halftime live streams again. And then the second question will be, will they want us there in person or doing it from whatever the equivalent of the couch is at that point? I hope we get to do some of them live. And David, David had been traveling a lot as a musician, so he's going to have to figure out what his priorities are career-wise. So we'll see. I'm just going to take whatever comes.
And how are you feeling about movement right now in your world?
Again, being cautious. I think we've talked since I went to the Village Vanguard, and that was great. But I'm picking my spots. I mean, I have the possibility of going to see Patti Smith this coming week, and I'm going to take that a day at a time because I've had 2 people test positive in the past week or so. Not in any situation where I was exposed to them or them to me, but and they've been very careful, and it happened to them anyway. So I'm taking all that into account when I do go out, keeping distance, staying masked, all of that. And it's plausible that I could see John Mayer. He just started his tour, but I have to have some faith that the environment's going to be one where I'm not too worried about it.
So John's going out on tour, on a John Mayer tour.
Yeah, this is behind his new album. He started the tour last night in Albany, and then he's at the Garden Monday and Tuesday. I won't go to one of those, but he's then coming back. There is a new arena not far from here at Belmont Park here in Queens, Belmont Racetrack, because the New York Islanders decided they had moved from Nassau Coliseum to Brooklyn. And then they decided they didn't like being in Brooklyn because their fans are all out on Long Island. So they got a new arena built at Belmont Park. So that's like 10 minutes from here. So that would be a cool way to see John if I can. That's like March 1st, I think.
That's exciting. March.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's almost March.
It is almost March. It's wild. And then we can start saying it's almost spring, which I look forward to.
Yeah, this snow, I'm over it.
Yeah.
We
only had a couple of really only one major snow experience. There could still be more, I suppose, but and the weather's been just nuts, going up and down and up and down. It'll go from the high 50s one day to the teens the next.
Yeah, you guys had 50s last week.
Yeah.
We didn't see that. Is that that one guy still making food, the fried chicken guy? The Asian?
Yeah, he's no longer here. He's no longer at my old former, he outgrew it really because the demand was so great. So he's now in Brooklyn, which is a shame. It was really nice to have that place that I'd gone so many times with the family. But I'm so happy for him that he's actually in San Francisco right now. He's doing a pop-up in San Francisco.
Oh, where?
Yeah, I forget, but it's on his, if you look up the Instagram for Eric Huang, Huang.
Right now. I might have already done it, but maybe not.
Yeah, and or the business is Pecking House, not Peking, but Pecking because of the chicken.
Peck.
ING House.
Pecking chicken. Pecking house.
Pecking House, because the restaurant, his family's restaurant was the Peking House, so he just changed it to
Philly
Pecking House.
Fried Chicken by Eric P. Huang.
Yeah, that's it.
274 Hall Street, Brooklyn, New York, Wednesday through Sunday.
Right.
Yeah, I'm gonna follow him too. Follow.
Yeah, he's a very cool guy.
Yeah, and he shows all. Oh, wow, yeah. So you'll probably have Chinese food again tomorrow. You mentioned.
I'll probably have the leftovers from the delivery. Yeah.
Oh, you guys, I have to do my imperfect foods before noon tomorrow. But the Chilean sea bass, if you're an imperfect foods person and they're offering the Chilean sea bass this week, I suggest you order it because it's just so darn good. It's just so good. Patty Smith, yeah. So you are going, you are not going. I'm sorry. I'm
gonna make that I'm gonna make the decision maybe the day before. I'm invited to go. I'm just gonna figure it out. See if my brother may want to go too. We'll see.
And next Saturday night, you're going to be.
Yeah, we should discuss this now. I think
we're all here. We're adults. Yeah. We can.
Yeah,
we can talk about it.
I'm gonna scope out the situation. I may have to take a little 11/11 hiatus because of the immense amount of unstable stuff that's going to be going on in my life over the next few weeks. So I just wanted to give you advance notice. So if you want to bring in a ringer, bring in a substitute, Ed McMahon,
there is no substitute for you, but
but they're understudies anyway. I just want to you've got lots of friends and lots of really interesting people that so I'll keep you posted on how it's looking. There could be Saturdays where I could just pop in, just for a hello. It's really dependent on what the schedule shakes out to with my brother and all that. So I feel, Rachel Maddow's taking a leave of absence. So if Rachel can, I can.
Well, yeah, I thought about it, but I didn't think about it. I think about it and then I go, but then what am I going to do? People go, right. If I ever take the break that I'm going to start with is just going to be, it's going to be 11 minutes and 11 seconds long.
That's excellent. That makes perfect sense. You can get a lot done in 11 minutes and 11 seconds.
It's pretty fast though.
Yeah.
I have to be like, I got to, bring you on by 11:13 and then we have till 11:22 and 11 seconds.
Excuse me.
Bless you. So, wow. Yeah. Okay. So March 24th, if you can.
Yeah.
That would be lovely or anytime. I mean, that's the date of the show. So anytime before you need to be out of the house, I would love for you to be on and tell your story.
And that is a Thursday. Okay. All right.
And
I will mark that.
Is your brother older than you?
Yes.
40,
okay. Little less than 4 years older.
I understand the older sibling stuff.
Oh, it's yes, it's an interesting dynamic. I can say no more.
And he lives in LA.
Yes. Has for an incredibly long time now. He's lived in LA for like 42 years or something like that. I don't think he ever expected it to be that long, but then he, had kids and all that, and that's what happens.
I was thinking today of the question I wanted to ask you. We did talk about Lucille Ball. I listened to the whole thing.
Yeah, I've only listened up to that episode where she and Desi meet. But I'll listen to more.
It's so good.
It was pretty fascinating. Did we talk? Had I already watched the Kamau Bell Cosby thing when we talked last Saturday? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. That's very rough watch.
Has that sunk in more for you?
Yeah, it was very interesting. I was with some friends last night, and the subject of Cosby came up. And we were all talking about the impact he had on us as kids, and then the impact he had on the culture, and then how this stuff has just completely, thrown everything in this way different light. But then you say, yeah, but that stuff was still there. That stuff happened, the good work he did, and then he blew it all. He just completely squandered any goodwill. So it's nuts.
Have you watched anything else since that you're thinking?
I've been pretty I haven't had as much media input. Oh, I do you know that I hate what the phrase hate watch, how you will watch shows that you can't stand, but you kind of can't turn away from them. There have been several shows that I've hate watched over the years because, well, I have this perverse fascination with talented people somehow getting involved in these train wrecks. Like they're actors who I always love watching.
Keep going, Gary. No, I'm just kidding.
They're actors that we love, and they make terrible movies.
Okay, sure.
And you say, oh, Meryl, how could you? Or
Yeah, I have said that a couple of times with Meryl.
Yeah,
I admit that.
And I think these projects will often have very good intentions, and the script might look good on paper, and somehow the actors don't have chemistry, or the director doesn't do the job, or the studio interferes, or the script goes through rewrites. There's so much that can make a promising project go wrong. So there's a show that just started its 4th season. And it's a show that when it was about to come on for the first time, I said, this should be great. Like I saw the little trailers for it, and I said, this looks really right up my alley. And this show started, and I said, oh, this has a really great look to it. And, it's about this era I really like, and this is going to be great. And then a few episodes into this show, I started going, I don't know. They're not conveying what the show purports to convey. And this central character for whom we are supposed to be rooting is kind of obnoxious. And so I made it through the first 3 seasons of this show, and it has turned into hate watching. It has turned it, because there's so many actors in it that I love, and I always enjoy watching them. The old saying, I would watch this person read the phone book. These people reading the phone book would be an improvement over this show. Anyway, that show is, for those of you who have been in suspense, The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. Yeah.
I love the clothing.
That's it. It's all about the look.
I love the hats. Yeah. I love Manhattan. I love the fact that he was at Columbia and they were in the apartments, and those are the apartments that I lived in. Right. And they're down in the village, and she's, I tried to turn my mom onto it, and early on I'm like, Mom, and I couldn't really. And I like when they're exercising, all the women are doing the thing at the same time, and there's this whole thing. But and my mom just said, I don't like it. And then tonight we were having dinner with Stacy, and I said, oh, the 4th season of Mrs. Maisel is on. And I went, I'm going to watch it because I want to see the fashion.
Right. So the thing is, the fashion.
Jeff's starting it tonight. Jeff's watching the 4th season tonight.
Yeah, the fashion and the production design and all that is, I think, what makes people think they're seeing something really cool. But if you go below the, well, first of all, the premise of the show should be bulletproof. here's this woman who's been this like pampered Jewish princess wife, and she discovers she has this genius for stand-up comedy, and she wants to break out and break up the male patriarchy of stand-up comedy. I mean, what's not to like? Here's what's not to like. She's a very bad stand-up comic. This is the fatal flaw. Her act stinks. The people who write the jokes don't understand that stand-up comedy has a certain rhythm and there's a whole discipline for comedians to like build a set.
Oh,
They
sure.
they have to work it. They have to like go. So Mrs. Maisel is apparently this genius savant who gets up on a stage and never writes anything down, and he says everything spontaneously, and the audiences howl. But it's not good. Her material, she's basically just venting all at the same pitch, all at the same volume. You know, she doesn't have the rhythm a comedian has. She doesn't like emphasize, punch certain lines. Because I've been watching stand-up comedy my whole life, and I love it. I love the craft. So that's the fact that she's not a good stand-up comedian. And then you find out not too long into the first season, she's a horrible person. She's utterly narcissistic.
Mm-hmm.
She does terrible things to the people around her.
Sometimes I'm like, where are your kids, dude?
Exactly.
Where's your baby? Right now, right this minute. I mean, her parents, I love her mom. I love her dad.
Yeah.
They're great.
I love the actors playing her mom and dad, but they're also such cartoonish Jewish stereotypes, as are a lot of the Jewish characters. It's really weird because it's like a show written by Jewish anti-Semites, I think. I'm not sure, but
it's interesting because I watch it. I mean, I've glazed over so much of it, like the third season, parts of the beginning of the third season. I just kind of went because they went to the, where they go to vacation and
the Catskills. Yeah.
Catskills.
Yeah. That was ludicrous.
But I was like, where's the little kid? A couple times that baby was nowhere to be found.
Yeah. And in fact, like none of the interactions with her family are anything like the way humans interact with each other. They just sort of like yell snappy one-liners at each other.
That apartment, her parents' apartment, her apartment.
I love that apartment. I want that apartment.
No, I want that apartment.
I'd like to evict her from that apartment and give it to me.
There you go. I'll be your roommate, please.
Thank you. This is all looking better. But the single most offensive thing that happened on the show, and there have been many, the end of last season. I don't know if anyone who followed it last season, but she got discovered. The thing is, she always goes like does a set, and everyone and somebody thinks it's brilliant and wants to hire her, even though the set stunk. But someone wants to. So she gets taken under the wing of this black singer, who is kind of like. He's kind of Johnny Mathis-like, but they don't even know what kind of singer he is, because he's like kind of a soul singer, but he's also kind of more like a dreamboat Johnny.
What's his name?
Shy Baldwin.
Shy Baldwin.
Right. And he's this really nice guy, and he's really nurturing, and he's really kind to her. So, and he's going to take her on tour of Europe. That was the end of last year, right? So the big climax of the year is going to be that she's gonna come on before him at the Apollo Theater,
right?
And not only that,
in 19,
we're in 19. I think we're just coming into 1959 or 60 in the timeline. The timeline of the show is also totally screwed up. So they have Lenny Bruce on it, and they have Lenny Bruce getting in trouble with the law, but that didn't happen until 4 years later,
right?
So they don't understand the history of comedy. They don't understand how comedy is made. Which is not a really good policy in a show that's supposed to be about a stand-up comedian. So, but they have the gall to have her go on at the Apollo after Moms Mabley.
Right.
And Wanda Sykes did a really nice job playing Moms Mabley, by the way. But this idiot.
Wanda, come be on the show.
Wanda rules. Wanda is a goddess. And Moms Mabley was an absolute hero of mine, a total
You're
pilot.
talking 1959 at the Apollo.
Yeah. I
Right?
know it's a TV show. I don't like bad TV shows, Patricia. That's the problem. And especially ones that are about subjects that are dear to my heart, and especially ones that are historically absurd, and ones that are, ones that don't get what they're supposed to be conveying. So anyway, she goes on after Moms Mabley, and she purportedly kills an all-black audience at the Apollo by outing Shy Baldwin as gay.
Right.
And then she gets kicked off the tour of Europe as a result of this. And now she's saying, why are these people being so mean to me? Because you're a jerk. And now she's like plotting revenge against everyone who's ever wronged her. That's how she starts the new season, except they didn't wrong her. You were a jerk. So anyway.
One of the cool things about the show is the hats that she wears are all owned by a woman that is a hat collector.
Oh, that's very cool.
Yeah. So like her mom has on a certain hat, and she's got the hat on when she leaves the baby to go count comedy. And is it true that it was lightly based on Joan Rivers, or is that just something I heard in the world?
Joan Rivers actually emerged after her. I think Phyllis Diller was maybe a role model. There was actually a woman who was one of the first woman stand-ups in the 50s.
God, I love this show.
There's a woman named Betty Walker, who never really took off, but she was on Sullivan a lot. And so people have said that she was a possible inspiration, except all those other comics, they were good. So that's a big distinction that you don't get with, and she's playing the Gaslight in Greenwich Village, which is not a place that would think she was hip at all. There's so much wrong with it. It's so wrong.
But I keep watching it.
I hate watching.
You hate watch it. I don't hate it, but I don't get sucked into it, except for what's she wearing right there right now? I mean, and I watched the first episode last night. I just find myself, I get bored really easily with it.
Yeah, it's been the same shtick over and over again too, and that's it is not. There hasn't been real character development. I mean, Tony Shalhoub is so wonderful. He's such a wonderful actor, but they have the father.
Tony Shalhoub, that's his name, Jeff.
Fang, yes. Tony Shalhoub has gone. What was he? A professor at Columbia, and now he's somehow he's now the theater critic for the Village Voice. They make all these illogical, and there was this stupid period where the parents were in Paris, and just
she had to go find herself.
Yeah, the show has no attention span. They don't develop characters or anyway.
So now, curious, what other hate watching shows are there out there for you?
Well, the last show that I actually stuck with it to the end, and again, it was that thing of actors I really like, and I sort of find them compulsively watchable. I think the last show where I saw it all the way through to the end instead of giving up on it was The Newsroom on HBO, which was an Aaron Sorkin show, and Aaron Sorkin has gone from it's gone from me admiring him on The West Wing, and now just about anything that Aaron Sorkin does is now hate watching. So
what was that other show? The other news show that was a funny. They had a great cast. Maybe 15, 20 years ago it was on. Was that called Newsroom too, or News Radio? News Radio. I love News Radio.
Phil Hartman, the late wonderful Phil Hartman was on that.
Loved News Radio.
Yeah, News Radio was lovely.
And I loved Red Oaks. Have you watched Red Oaks?
I have not.
Oh, Gary. Oh, you must watch Red Oaks and Catastrophe. If you guys haven't seen Catastrophe, Jeff, I think you and Lisa would love Catastrophe. I loved Catastrophe. So no, I didn't know this. Did you know that George Carlin, there's a documentary in the works produced by Chris Rock?
Oh, I can't wait. That should be great. I mean, Carlin is one of those people who changed comedy. Yeah, there was no one like him before that, and he was amazing.
The Lenny Bruce story, A dear friend of mine was his attorney.
Wow. I'm sure he had his hands full because Lenny was in a lot of trouble a lot of the
The
time.
late great Al Bendick. Yeah, that
Wow.
was one of
I
his.
know I know that name, I think.
Bay Area,
Yeah.
owner of one
Yeah.
of the owners of Fantasy.
Oh, sure. Oh, yeah. That's probably why I know the name. Um, yeah, that's another thing. That's another thing. See, you get me started on the Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, and I just want to vent. They kind of stack the deck because she's supposed to be this avenging feminist hero. So they make it look like every comedian on the show, every male comedian of that era who was not Lenny Bruce was some horrible misogynist, my wife is so fat kind of comedian. And that was absolutely not true. That was a period where Mort Saul emerged and Dick Gregory emerged and Bob Newhart. And there was like a lot of great and innovative comedy happening then. So they kind of invent this fake conflict for her to go up against, and it's they another thing, this is a very minor historical point that made me mad. There's this club that she has tried to get on stage in a couple of times. It happened again, I think, in one of these two new episodes.
You mentioned it in the first episode.
Yeah, but it happened. That place recurred a couple of other times. She got in trouble for like putting down the other comics because they were all like male hacks, and she's supposed to be funnier than them, but she isn't. But they introduced at that club, and I think in the first or second season, ladies and gentlemen, we have a surprise guest tonight, Mr. Jackie Vernon. And this guy, Jackie Vernon, gets up and he's a terrible hack. My wife is so fat kind of comedian. That drove me crazy as a comedy fan because there was a comedian named Jackie Vernon and he was wonderful. He was like this very surreal kind of comic. He did like very odd situations. His first album starts with him telling a story about how he was discovered in show business by singing from a watermelon truck where he was singing watermelons, and Secretary of State Dean Rusk thought his voice was so beautiful that he offered to put him in show business. And it's this completely bizarre where his watermelon gets shot in a burglary. He was wonderful, and he was Frosty the Snowman. Thank you, Rich. He did the voice of Frosty the Snowman on a
Thank you, Rick.
Hi,
Cashew.
I love the knowledge pool among this group. So what bugged me about this is they take the name of a real comic and a great comic and they defame him. And what the producers of the show are thinking, I'm sure, is that, hey, we're going to use the name Jackie Vernon because we are so knowing about comedy of that era. And they're not. They just picked a name out of a hat. And then they completely distorted what the guy did for a living. So again, don't get me started. Oh, you already got me started.
Well, I'm going to change the subject just because I started watching this other show on Netflix and then I had to stop and I can't even remember the name of it. But I watched the Tinder Bar. George Clooney movie. And I was happy because someone I know had a song in it. And so good for them that they have a song. But the kid in the Tinder Bar was this cute little kind of dark kid, darker, like he had big, pretty eyes. And then when he was a young adult, looked nothing like the same person. And just the whole story, I went, like, I watched it because, well, it's, it's supposed to be a really good movie.
Yeah.
I didn't care for it. So I liked it. It was okay, but
yeah, it didn't knock you out. Mike Nichols and Elaine May just came up, and that, absolute heroes of mine. And also people who emerged in that era and were not hacks, were beyond so important, so influential. Heard Ben Affleck's Boston accent is unlistenable. Well, Ben Affleck's really from Boston, so I would imagine.
He and what's his name both. But do you think they wrote that?
What?
The song, the book, the song, the movie that they got all the Academy Awards for?
Oh, sure. Yeah, they absolutely
Do you?
did. Yeah.
You think?
Yeah, I mean, they were totally unknown at that point. So there's no way they
Right.
wouldn't have written it, I don't think.
I did watch, Grace and I watched the new J-Lo movie, Marry Me.
Mm-hmm. And
It's cute, you know? It's sort of like Emily in Paris. Emily in
which I
Paris,
also haven't watched.
it's a good show.
Yeah, I've heard nice things.
And she is Phil Collins.
Phil Collins. Yeah, Lily Collins
Daughter.
is Phil Collins' daughter. Yeah.
Yeah.
I had seen her in things for a while
I
before I
want her
found
to
that
eat a
out.
sandwich. Like, here, eat this big sandwich, Pete. But, well, Jeff Metzger is going to go watch The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel.
Okay. Well, that could be a subject on 11:11 in the morning next Saturday.
What I was going to ask you about someone, and now I can't remember what show it was that I wanted to know if you had any connection to, but I think we've done quite well tonight. So the next few weeks, you won't be here, but we'll miss you, and I love you.
I'll miss
and
everybody.
It's 12:12, right? It's 12:12, and there are 12 people here right now.
Fabulous. That's beautifully symmetrical.
It is.
And I hope my venting about Mrs. Maisel was not excessive, but it probably was.
I don't think it was I maybe think a lot of people might, when you really break it down, might feel that way.
Yeah, and as I said, it's a show I was rooting for when it came on. I thought this is going to be great. But that happens.
It happens. It's just like I really, 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 I hate, okay, now I know what hate watching is.
Mm-hmm.
I did not like the Nicole Kidman, Lucille Ball.
Oh God. Well, that's Aaron Sorkin. And so already that's one strike against it. I really thought the tone.
It makes me nauseous to think about it.
Yeah, I saw clips of it and I said, the tone of this is going to be so off.
So bad.
Yeah. I think about the only things that I thought, I didn't watch the whole thing, but I sort of dipped a toe in it and said, yeah, I can skip past this. I can go to this point. I can skip past this. The only things I thought were worthwhile were J.K. Simmons as William Frawley, and even more, Nina Arianda was really, really good as Vivian Vance.
Really great. Really great.
Yeah.
When is your Mother's Story going to be on, Mom? Probably on March 24th. Poor Aaron Sorkin, Bill says.
I know.
Yeah,
I've become so brutal about Aaron Sorkin.
I mean, and I watched The Undoing, and I'm glad I watched it, and it was during, like we were all like in a bubble with some friends, and I watched it, and I just look at her face and go, I want to go.
Yeah.
Thing.
Yeah, suck all the Botox out and find the human underneath.
Like she looks like a bird.
Yeah,
and I'm being mean.
But even before the immobilization, I've always had fundamental problems with Nicole Kidman's acting. It's I've always liked
for the immobilization.
Yeah, it's really interesting. The one movie that I thought she was kind of unreservedly great was the one where she was playing the most artificial character, To Die For.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I remember that movie.
To Die For is a great movie. I think a very underrated movie. And she's playing this completely phony, everything she says is okay. Social Network. Rich asked about the Aaron Sorkin stuff that I thought has worked best. And he's written some good. Movie. Yes. And Moneyball was good too.
I like that movie too.
My theory is that was Aaron Sorkin reined in by someone else's context. Both The Social Network and Moneyball were based on existing books about their subjects. And they were directed by people other than Aaron Sorkin, who know how to work with actors. So Sorkin was not running the show there. Aaron Sorkin once said, he said this about both The Social Network and and Moneyball. And it really says something about his ego, because he says, yeah, I went into that project without knowing anything about computers or the internet. And he said about Moneyball, I don't know anything about baseball, but he always feels like he can make a subject more interesting by Sorkinizing it, Of course, to me, the worst thing, the thing that was really the last straw, was the trial of the Chicago 7, where he completely made a travesty of this really important event and turned everybody into a cartoon. And that was a real personal one for me, because I was there. I was in Chicago for that convention, and I followed the trial like every day. And I know what was important about that trial. And it's like Aaron Sorkin saying, yeah, well, reality would be really interesting if I wrote it, That's not the way it works.
Right.
Yeah.
You meant Miss Maisel. You waited a long time to see Miss Maisel, because I thought, no, Suzanne thought no. Yeah, well.
Yeah. It's funny, it's also, I've been around stand-up comedy, and I know comics, and I work clubs where comics played. So I really know the atmosphere there. And I know it's really hard work. And I know it can be crushing. When a comic bombs, I get physically uncomfortable watching a comic bomb, because I know how hard that is. And when I see a really great set, I say, this is miraculous. This is so brilliant. One of the best comedy shows I ever saw, we promoted at Wolfgang's. Jay Leno, before he got ruined by being a talk show host, Jay Leno was one of the best stand-up comics ever.
Really?
And people can hardly even think that now, because once he became host of the Tonight Show, he became so obsessed with succeeding and being the new Johnny and all that he really lost his whole comic mojo.
Yeah.
If you look at and there are a lot of them, you look at old clips of Leno as a guest on Letterman, that stuff is brilliant. It's like watching, Borg and McEnroe play tennis. I mean, that was,
that's why I liked watching David Brenner back then.
Yeah. So it was Leno and the then not yet famous Ellen DeGeneres opening. And they played 2 shows at Wolfgang's in one night.
Wow.
And watching the way the sets differed, they'll do a lot of the same jokes. I mean, they're playing 2 separate shows, but it becomes different because of the nature of the audience, like what the audience gets, the references they respond to. And really great comics feel that. They pick up the information from the audience and they build on things. And that's I have
pay attention to your audience. I people say, do you have a set list? I'm like, I make my set list because I'm paying attention to where the audience is going.
Yeah.
I don't do it for myself.
Yeah.
Brenner. I love David Brenner. Oh,
yeah.
And I loved Richard Lewis back then too. Way back in the day.
I utterly love Richard Lewis. I got to see him in San Francisco, and he's so. The great thing about Richard Lewis is he's so random. He goes off on the weirdest tangents. He's wonderful.
And I hear that what's her name? The Asian comedian, the young one that had she was pregnant on Netflix.
She was pregnant. Awkwafina.
No, hold on.
No?
Hold on.
I like Awkwafina.
Did you Ali Wong?
Oh yeah, I know Ali Wong. Yeah.
She has a new show on Netflix. I haven't watched.
Oh, cool. I'll have to check that. I like her.
Yeah, she's funny. And there's this other young woman that my friend Nicholas turned me on to. She's blonde and she's 25. And I watched her show and she's really funny. And I need to figure out who she is again. And I'll tell you the next time.
Young blonde comics. Who are the ones? I know there's a couple out there right now.
Oh, she's hysterical.
Oh, good.
Let me see. What's the name? What is the name of the young comic you turned me on to? She's funny. But Ali Wong, you guys.
Cool.
She's awesome. Maybe he might answer, he might not. But I can't. I could Google her, but I don't know if I'll Google Funny. I think Amy Schumer's funny.
Yeah. Yeah.
Female. And are you hip to Doug Stanhope?
Yeah. I know the name. I can't remember
He
where
is
I've
one of
seen him.
those. Oh, is this her? It's not Chelsea Handler. I like Chelsea.
Uh, is it something Glazer? Eliza Glazer, maybe? Eliza something?
Oh, she's she's young. She's like 25. Anybody?
I'm almost sure I know who you're talking about, but I can't. No, No, it's not Alana Glazer because that's the woman who was on Broad City, who I also love. But
Female
there's a name like
comedians and-
is it Schlesinger? Eliza
Yeah,
Schlesinger? That's her. Yeah, she's very funny. Yes.
Catherine Cohen is really funny too.
Yeah.
Is it Schlesinger? Yeah, she's like 25 years old and
Yeah.
she's on it.
Yeah. I've seen her on a few late night shows and stuff.
Is this her? This is her right now.
Cool.
Yeah, she's great.
Yeah.
Yep, that's who it is. Never mind, I don't need your help anymore. Well, Gary Lambert, you know,
Jenna?
every week is just such a gift.
It is. And whatever time I miss with you over these next few weeks, I will really miss. But I'll keep you posted. If there's any way I can jump in, I shall.
Netflix is going up to $15 a month.
That's what I hear. Yeah.
I learned so much from you guys. Well, I'm giving you a huge hug.
Same here. Right back at you.
And then another one here.
All right. I'll switch
And
to.
there's 11 people here right now, so.
Mm-hmm.
11 with Jenna. 11 with Jenna. 11 with Jenna.
For real. This is why I do this.
11 with Jenna. With Jenna. 11 with Jenna. Right now. 11 with Jenna. With Jenna.
You're dancing with us.
11.
Thank you, Gary Lambert. Do you have a letter for me?
Oh yeah. I gotta think of a letter.
You guys share the show. Share. This
Yes,
show is really, this is what it's about. And the
It's a
people that are
beautiful thing.
here, it's the core group. And people tell me days later, I'm like, Gary was so great the other night. They go, oh, I watched it. And they go, but I watched it on Monday or something. I just love my Saturday nights with you. One more Saturday night.
Let's go with G in honor of George Carlin.
G, 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 golly G, also for Gary. And I'll say George Carlin, oh my goodness, is there anyone funnier? G, 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 all of you please have a good night. Stay safe, stay healthy, and always be real nice. Thank you all for 11:11 with Jenna. 11:11 with Jenna. And Saturday nights, it's one more Saturday night with Gary Lambert. Oh my goodness gracious, we will see you soon. All have a spacious time, so now I'll say, from your thoughts, make them giant thoughts. From your words, please tell me, Gary, what kind of word?
Generous.
Generous, generous thoughts, just like Gary Lambert. And from your heart, make it be. Give me a big G word, Gary.
Good.
a good, and as Suzanne says, gargantuan heart. One more round of applause for Mr. Gary Lambert. They love you, man.
Love you back.
And
will-
we're
I
all
will-
here for you, you know?
Yeah, well, I will see you all on whatever Saturday lies ahead.
You got it. Love hard.
Real hard.